I've never been the kind of guy, and you know me well enough now, never been the kind of guy that felt like I wanted people to feel sorry for me. And when my mother left me on the street corner when I was a child, alcoholic, walked away, said, you wait here. She left, never came back. So I sat on the corner for 3 days. And of all the people...
How old were you?
I was 12. Of all the people that drove by me, of all the people that walked by me, you know how many people stopped? Just one. Because it's always one.
Yeah.
Somebody gets it. Somebody understands. It was a Christian man, just an ordinary person. He got out of his truck on the way home from work, walks across the street to where I'd been sitting, and asks me one question. He says, are you okay? And I used to stutter really bad when I was little. And I tried to tell him that I was just hungry. And I didn't know where my mother was. And immediately, he got his wife. She brought me some food. He got on the phone. And 5 hours after this initial point of contact, I'm in a church van on my way to a church camp where I heard the story of Jesus for the first time.
Wow.
That was, he put it in motion. That was the impetus. And so that's it. That's how it started. What I'm doing when I drive the bus to pick up the kids, I'm doing the same thing for those kids that man did for me. That's what it is. That's what makes it. His own son was in the hospital dying of leukemia.
Wow.
He had not even an excuse, but a legitimate reason to just keep on going like everybody else. He had to borrow the $17.50 that it took to send me to the camp. But he saw something in the kid that nobody wanted. He saw it, and that connected with him. He saw it.
You wrote a book called Whose Child Is This? Yeah. What was that book about?
It's how the ministry started in Brooklyn. I went there in 1980. I worked with Pastor Tommy Barnett for many years when he was in Davenport, Iowa. And he went to Phoenix. I went to New York. And I got tired of having the folks in this city, from the police to the school administrators to, quite honestly, a lot of the church folk that kept saying, these kids are hopeless. These kids are hopeless. There's nothing you can do for them. And that was before inner city ministry became a bit in vogue. We were a bit of the pioneers, but as you know, when you're a pioneer, you get shot at by the cowboys and the Indians. We got it from both sides because nobody understood.
Right.
They didn't understand, and people said, these kids are hopeless, you're going to die there. Yeah, and I understood that. I mean, I've been stabbed, thrown off a building, ribs broken, jaw broken, shot in the face. I've been through all that. But I was so angry in one meeting, and I jumped up when one of the administrators said, these kids are hopeless. I said, no, they're not hopeless. They just don't have any hope. Jesus brings the hope. There's a big difference between hopeless and having the hope. Jesus brings the hope.
Vision will always call on provision. And what God is doing in you is phenomenal. How you got like 17, 18 school buses that go throughout the whole Brooklyn area and pick kids up and bring them to the service?
Well, the Sunday school now is 6 days a week. You came there on Saturday, where we do it 3 times. We pick up, actually, we have 40 buses.
Wow.
And we run them in cycles, one at 10 o'clock, one at 1 o'clock, one at 4 o'clock. And then, of course, we have the Sunday services, but then staff has Monday off, and then Tuesday we have what we call sidewalk Sunday school trucks. And these trucks go all over New York City. They're mobile Sunday school units. The side of the truck comes down because the building was filled 3 times on Saturday. But there were so many other kids that wanted to come to Sunday school. Nobody was reaching them. So I said, okay, if we can't bring them to church for Sunday school, then we'll take the Sunday school and we'll take it to them. This thing has evolved over the 30 years that I've been there. You know, we started in the Bushwick, Bedford, Stuyvesant section. And from there, it went across the city. We're now in all 5 boroughs. But people would read the book you mentioned, Whose Child Is This? They would come to New York, ride the bus, see the Sunday school like you did. And because it's not fancy buildings, because it's not new buses, because We don't have a lot of professional preachers. We're just ordinary people that saw the need, and the need was the call. And we said, this needs to be done. We can do this in the name of Jesus. And so people would come from all over the world and say, if it works in Bed-Stuy, if it works in East New York, if it works in the South Bronx, it'll work where we are. I said, yes. Yes, it will. Absolutely.
And it
That's
is.
what it was.
And it is.
And it is. Because it's built on biblical principles. You and I both know, and I know a lot of the folks watching tonight know, that a lot of ministries are built on a personality. But you can't duplicate a personality. But you can duplicate biblical principles. And that's why it's all over the world. Because people realize if a city's going to be changed, if a nation's going to be affected, you're going to have to take a generation and say, this is where the cycle stops. Right here, this is where it stops. These are the ones we reach. And so they got it, and they took it. When we had several folks that were telling me about the needs in the Philippines, I went. And I thought, okay, let me just go. And we spent 24 hours walking around Manila. And we ended up in the Santa Rosa garbage dump. And myself and two of the guys that were with me, we were walking through the garbage dump where the kids live. They pick through the garbage just to get little plastic, anything, to sell it for a couple of pesos to eat. But they live in the dump. So we're walking through the dump. And I saw, it looked like a rat. So I stopped for a minute, and I looked at it, and I thought, wait a minute, this is not a rat. And it was like a big shock of hair, and I came up closer, and it was a ponytail. And I went over, and the other guys were just kind of watching, and I moved the garbage, and it was a little dead girl laying face down in the garbage. So I moved the garbage, and I grabbed her by the shoulder, and I rolled her out of the garbage, and her face was covered with ants, and the ants had eaten the eyeballs out of her head. So now I'm standing there looking at this. Okay, this isn't TV, this isn't book, this isn't news, this is here. This is right here. And one of the guys who was with me, he walked off and threw up. And I'm standing there. I don't know what happened. I don't know. We never found out. But I made up my mind that day. I said, God, I'm one guy. I'm one guy, but somehow, some way, we have got to reach these kinds of kids living in the garbage dump. There's 1,000 kids that live in the North Cemetery in Manila. Wow. There's a row of tombs on the back that every 5 years, because there's not enough room to bury people, the city goes in, opens up the tombs, pulls out the skeletons of these dead people, throws them on the ground so they can put another dead person in there to seal it up. But what a lot of people don't know, unless you go there, there are squatters that live, over 1,000 people that live in that cemetery. So these kids are being raised amongst the remains of dead people. So we said, we have to start a Sunday school there. We have to start a Sunday school in the garbage dump. Somehow, we've got to reach these guys, whatever it takes. Once again, the need was the call. Big doors open on really small hinges.
Wow.
A lot of people are waiting for the big, audible voice, burning bush. But I've been doing this 43 years. I have found that God puts something in front of us, all of us, almost every day, as insignificant as it may seem, so we miss it in its insignificance or apparent insignificance because we're waiting for the audible voice, the burning bush, but we miss the thing that's right in front of us. You get the small thing, and that opens the big door that moves you. It moves you into another dimension. That's how this stuff in the cemetery, in the garbage dump. I was in Somalia just about a month ago. And I saw on the news that refugee camp on the Somalia-Kenya line, 480,000 people. 480,000 people living in this refugee camp. One little boy, he was an orphan. He snuck in, and I gave him a roll. I rented a couple trucks in Nairobi. We loaded them with food, drove 12 hours to the camp, and this little guy And he's just looking, and I got him a roll, and I gave him a little bag of food, and he walks over to slip out of the gate, and he just looks like, thank you, like he's trying to say thank you, and then he just, it's the little things. Just like the man who picked me up off the street. He put something into motion. He put it in motion. And now people say, hey, Bill Wilson's just an ordinary person. Yes, I am. But I'm a grateful, ordinary person for the one man who made a difference. An ordinary Christian made a difference in my life. And now